Wow, what a great group to talk baseball. Barnacle, let's start with you.
Little levity.
I hear there may be some plans to get baseball players back in June. What can you tell us?
Well, there is a plan, Joe, but I think it's more wishful thinking than reality. I mean, when you just consider the logistics, 30 teams, traveling parties, you're talking over 3,000 people in total. Players, coaches, medical staff, front office staff in a few ballparks in either Texas or Arizona. And that's even before you get to the negotiation over what will you pay the players, because owners would be putting up the money to get the teams there, and they would be playing in front of no fans whatsoever, no gate money. So it's great to think about. I hope it happens. I kind of doubt it will.
Claire McCaskill, what do you think? Is it a good idea? Can it be pulled off?
Well, I think it sounds great in the abstract to be able to watch baseball on television. I think we're all jonesing for baseball on television right now as the weather warms up. The problem is the first player. You have these incredible investments in these great players. When a player goes down with COVID, and then another player contracts COVID, then you're going to see the MLB scrambling to say, well, never mind. So I think it's a really risky thing to do, especially if they're planning on doing it as soon as June. Maybe they can manage it later in the year, but it worries me. As much as I miss baseball and miss my Cardinals, I still think this is really putting the players at risk for real health complications.
Jonathan Lemire, another important baseball question. Is there anything in Mookie's contract that says if he doesn't play for the Dodgers in 2020, the Red Sox can get him back?
Not quite, but some of the service time issues are being worked out in the league and the players union and stuff. And at the moment, the proposal is that this year would count as part of his service time. So he would, Mookie Betts, would be a free agent at year's end, whether or not he ever actually plays a game this season with the Dodgers. So potentially, Joe, he could then be a free agent and re-sign with the Red Sox in the offseason. Perhaps, therefore, his career would only be played in Boston, but it remains to be seen. And let me add my voice to that list. It would be great to have baseball back. They're clearly floating a couple of proposals here. One was to have the whole league based out of Arizona because so many spring training parks are there. Now they're floating the idea of radically realigning baseball, 10-team divisions, mixing up American League and National League based strictly on geography to cut down on travel. But again, playing in front of the empty parks. I don't know how feasible that is. Someone smart recently, who had been talking to the White House, suggested that though as much as the president wants these sports leagues to be back as soon as possible, and he's really pushing for football in particular to be back this fall, that the most the safest option would be the baseball would be the first sports back.
Yeah, no, football, the NFL, that would be the worst.
There, Joe. No way to spread out in that.
Yeah, that would be the worst option, football. Willie, so, you look back at the beginning of this crisis when Americans really started to get it. Of course, when they heard that Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson had coronavirus, everybody was calling everybody because it was somebody, stars that they knew and loved and admired. But, man, when the NBA canceled their season, when NCAA tournament was canceled, March Madness was canceled, that's when people started to realize that if these huge sports entities were shutting down, that this was serious because they were obviously giving up billions and billions of dollars. I think Major League Baseball, you have a little more separation in baseball, so maybe it does make a little more sense than the NBA. But still, very difficult challenges ahead.
Yeah, that was a defining moment, I think, in this. I think it was a Wednesday night when Rudy Gobert of the Utah Jazz tested positive for coronavirus, and the team trainer ran out onto the floor right before the game began and pulled the team off the floor in Dallas. Shortly thereafter, the NBA suspended the rest of its season. This baseball plan on paper, just as sports fans and all of us sitting here right now and a lot of you watching are baseball fans, is exciting. I mean, the idea that you could have 3 divisions, this is the plan that's been floated out, and just get rid of the National and American leagues and make them regional divisions. So in one division, you'd have the Yankees and the Mets, the Red Sox and the Phillies, and these teams would all play each other and sort of play a regional schedule in their home ballparks. It's tantalizing. It's exciting. But I think for all the reasons that everyone has laid out, it's going to be very difficult, even without big crowds in the stadiums, to move these guys around and to have them interacting at all with each other. If there were a sport that could do it, as you say, it's probably baseball. People are so hungry for sports. You look at the ratings for the Jordan documentary, the 10-part documentary on ESPN, astronomical ratings, and they were again even for the second night. The NFL draft, which was conducted effectively on Zoom, did a rating almost as close as a NFL game would get on ESPN. People are so thirsty for sports. So let's hope there's a way that safely we can get back to the sports we love.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.